Today I'm going to talk about a really cool thing that we have started with all our new boats. So we're the first series production yacht builder that includes this really cool boat monitoring hardware in each new boat that we build. So this is true for all the different brands of our HanseYachts AG group. So we have Hanse and Dehler and Moody sailing boats, and also Fjord and Sea Line motorboats. And this new app, it's called the Safety Cloud, and that's included in all the new boats that we build. It's accessible right here from my smartphone, so it's really cool, really easy, and I'm going to show you how it works. And it's a boat monitoring function that can get you to keep track of everything that is concerning your boat. So we have different alerts that you get for different things that might happen to your boat, whether it's the batteries or if your boat is changing location, touching ground while underway. All that kind of stuff is all in the app. And we also have different sensors on board that are all controlled via the app as well. You can have access to your maintenance stuff, to all your manuals, to your insurance, any spare parts that you might need. So basically, it's something you might know from your car already. It's been in the automotive industry for years. And now we have started to put it into our boats as well, because of course there you need to know all this stuff as well. And today I'm going to show you all the details of this app, the Safety Cloud, for your personal boat to keep track of everything. Of course, the first question is how to get to the app. How do you get the Safety Cloud? So in every new boat, the hardware is already installed on board your boat. We will talk about that a little later as well. And your dealer has to tell the hardware basically that you are the new owner of the boat. So your dealer has to, it's called transfer ownership. So as soon as the app acknowledges you as the official owner of the boat, that's when the app will work for you. The dealer will need your email address for that. And then latest the day of the handover of the boat, so latest the day when you actually get the keys to your boat, that's when he should have transferred the ownership for the app as well. He can do that beforehand, but he will need your email address. And then you get an email. Also, always check your junk folder, because sometimes, depending on your email program, it might not recognize the sender. And then you just open the email and it has all the information in it that you need. It says what's your boat and what you have to do. And there's a big button in that email that says register your account, and that's the first thing that you have to do. So I press on that button and it brings me to this register page. It has my email address in, and then I choose a password for myself. For example, Hanse 123, and I retype the same password. That's just for security reasons. 123, and press register. That's the first step, and then my account should be ready to go. So I get to this page here that has all the normal regulations, terms of use, the privacy policy, etc. Like you know from other apps as well. I press accept. And then you can decide if you want promotional emails or not. And now it asks you if you accept the ownership of this particular boat. So my boat is the Hanse 508. And then of course I know that. And if it was correct that I got the email, I click on accept. Back to my email, I also have the direct link to the App Store. So that's either for iOS systems or for Android phones. It depends on your phone, of course, or if you want to choose to use the app on a tablet, of course, that's as well possible. I open the App Store and it directly brings me to the link to the app, and then I just click download and wait for it all to download. We get this welcome window, and it's the same as with every app. You can read the terms of use. I know them, of course, so I can accept and continue. So I've shown you how you organize everything to get started with your safety cloud if you get the email from your dealer. If for some reason that email doesn't get to you, even not in the junk folder, always ask your dealer first. But if there's still some kind of problem, there's always the possibility to get everything going manually. There's also on our web pages, depending on the brand, there's always a safety cloud area there, which you can open, and it gives you all the details on how to download the safety cloud app. If you then have the app installed, but still no email from your dealer, even after asking him, then there's always the possibility to tell the hardware manually that you're the owner of the boat. The hardware is always somewhere close to the navigation area on your boat. So here, for example, I open the panel behind the DC panel, and up here is a QR code that you scan, and that will tell the hardware that you are indeed the owner of this boat that you're on. Now I've downloaded the app, and it's already right here on my home screen. To open it, I click on it, and then of course now I have already registered. If I haven't done that before, I can still do it now, but now I only have to log in with the email address that I used before. And with the password that I have set for myself, Hanse123. So this brings me to the home screen of the app. You see there's a lot of different information on there, but we will go into detail, and we'll talk about all the different things that we can do with this app a little later on. The first thing that I notice is up here, that's the name of my boat. It's very generic. It's just the model number and the production number, so it's not really pretty. And maybe I even have more than one boat, and then of course it would be easier to rename the boat. So I can do that by clicking on the three dots, then click on boat info, and the first thing here is the boat name. So I can change that, and I will call my boat Bob. Click on OK, and now the official boat name is Bob. When I go back to the start page, you see that it has changed the name to Bob as well. So now whenever I'm in the app, I can directly see what boat this is concerning. Now you can see right on my start screen of my phone, there is this little 4 right next to the app icon. That means that there's something to be worried about, so to say. So when I click on it, I'm back in the app, and down here I see the 4 as well. That's next to the little bell. That's called alerts. And as you can see, there's already something in there. It says there's an anchor alert, there's a shore power alert, the internal battery is low. That is all not from today. This has been a couple of days ago when the boat was, well, according to the app, still owned by my dealer. And then of course the boat might have been moved, the battery might have been exchanged, but this all doesn't concern me. But I go through it and I check anything that's happening to the boat will be put here in the alerts overview. And whatever I have checked, I click on clear and it will just disappear. I can also click all, clear all with the 3 buttons on top, and then click clear all, and then it asks me if I really want to clear all. So just to be sure that I have taken care of all the different alerts, I have, and now the list should be empty. There's no alerts. And we do that to show you what's happening when there is an actual alert. So whenever there's an alert, I get this push notification. And one thing that I can control myself from in here is the bilge pump. So if I turn it off, there should be a push notification. There it is already. That comes directly to my home screen. So I know immediately that something is wrong and that I have to check my bilge pump. So this is the alert that I got, that my boat has moved outside the anchor area. That's exactly what it says. So I can check what happened. If my boat has been moved, by wind from the area where I have anchored, and that's exactly what the geofence does. It just maps where my boat is and if it's still where it should be. As soon as I have checked if everything is okay with my boat, again I click on clear and it will be gone. And you see below here we have the little number 1, which disappears as soon as there's no current alerts left in my alert overview. If you still want to see what alerts there have been in the past, there's always the possibility to click on the 3 dots up here, click on history, and it will load the history of all your alerts that have been cleared as well. So you see right here, that's the alert we just had before, that my boat has been moved. And there's all the other alerts that we had before that. So that even goes beyond the alerts from today, and everything that I have had in here is still collected. So if in case you clear an alert that isn't in fact cleared, you can always check back with it here. Or if there's something else, you always can check when did that happen before, and it's all in the history here. Again, I have the little one down here at my alerts button. So there's something unresolved. When I click on it, I see that I've gotten a maintenance alert. That means that my engine needs the yearly inspection, and that's due soon. So I can click on Open Service Log, and it will directly bring me to the maintenance area of my app. I can also access it differently. That's via the More button. And then I click on Maintenance, and it brings me to the same area. And it shows me all the maintenance that is due, that has to be done. And this is the one that I just got now, the yearly inspection. In order to get somebody to take care of it, I just click on Request Assistance. And then it asks me if I really want to put in a request for service assistance. When I click on Yes, it will send the request directly to my dealer. And you can also see if it's the correct dealer that's behind here, but he is still registered in the app, so he will get the request from you. And now you see, today I have requested the assistance from my dealer, and they will contact me soon. So I have put in the request for the maintenance alert that I had gotten. When I go back to my email, I already got an email from my dealer who asked me if I'm free on Tuesday, so then we can talk about the request I had, and he can do the maintenance work right then. So he gives me an answer right away because he's informed immediately when I put in the request via the Safety Cloud app. So now let's pretend that Tuesday is over and I've had my date with my dealer, and now I already see in my alerts area that the service log has been updated, and I will see the service log as before on More than Maintenance, and then it shows me the yearly inspection. Now it has been updated to done. That's what my dealer has done. And to see all the details, I click on this little arrow down here and it opens the request. I know when that had been sent, and there is an attachment as well. It's called the work order. When I click on it, it shows me the invoice and all the details that have been done from my dealer. So everything is right there in the maintenance area, and of course everything is also put back into the maintenance log. So the main reason why I need the Safety Cloud is, as the name already suggests, the safety. It's a safety feature. So all the different details in this app help me and my boat stay safe. And right on the home screen, that's where it all starts already. We can always go back to the home screen by clicking on the leftmost corner down there. That always brings us back to the main screen. We have the main part of this home screen is a map. It shows us where the boat is right now. So there's a little red flag there. And like with all the online maps, you can always click on it and then zoom in or zoom out. And then you can see exactly where your boat is at. What we also have on this home screen is the part called geofence. A geofence, it is about your boat being in one particular location and you don't want your boat to leave that location. So that might be in our case here that we're in a port, our boat is safe here, and of course I want to know when my boat leaves its position. This might be useful, for example, if somebody else is going on your boat, so your friend asks you if he can take out your boat, then of course that makes sense for you to still keep track of everything. But of course also if you're anchoring somewhere in a nice bay and you want to be woken up in the middle of the night if for some reason your boat moves although you have anchored. So that's a really useful thing to have. And I just click on auto, that's the automatic geofence, and then of course it uses my position. So I click on OK, and then it's updating my boat position, and then it knows this is my position right now and I don't want my boat to leave this position. And then of course I will get an alert as well. And it can be really loud, so it will wake you up in the middle of the night as well. So of course I want to get informed when my boat leaves its position. For that, the Safety Cloud app sends me a push notification. So even if I don't have my app opened on my phone right now, there is a push notification popping up on my home screen of my phone, so I know exactly what's happening. And we have a lot of different alerts that come in this way. I will show you a few details a bit later on, but that is all to the goal of keeping you and your boat safe. So it doesn't matter if it's the shore power that has been disconnected, and of course you want to be connected to the shore power, that will be an alert. There's also other things happening to your boat that you just might not feel or notice yourself, and that's what the app is for. And it always sends you those push notifications so you know exactly what's going on. And to access all those alerts, they are collected in the separate area down here. That's our main menu at the bottom part of the screen, and it's called alerts as well. And always to come back to the home screen, you just click on your boat's model number in the far left corner down there. At the end of a trip, I would usually sit here and put all the information from my trip into my logbook. Usually every evening I would have to do that. And now with the Safety Cloud app, I don't have to do that anymore, because the app and all the sensors that are in the boat and the hardware inside will do that for me. So I have the separate little menu down here, it's called trips. And when I click on it, it automatically saves all the trips that I did. I don't have to press start and stop whenever I go, because then of course I can easily forget. But here the app does that automatically. It knows exactly when I leave my location, my anchor position, and takes this as my home port. And then I'm away, and only when I return to the home port, of course if that's my setting, then the app knows that my trip is over. So it can take more than one day, and it doesn't matter how many miles it is, everything is saved in the app. And for example, right here I can see that my boat has already done 101 trips, and I have them all in order. Of course that might be a bit complicated to remember which trip number was that when I went out for the weekend, so I can click on each trip. It shows me a complete map of it, and the first thing I would like to do and show you is to rename the trip. So it's easier for me in the future to know what exactly that trip involved. So I click on the three buttons at the top, then click on rename, and instead of trip 101, I call it weekend away. Click on OK, and now this trip is renamed to weekend away. And in this map here, I see all the different parts of that journey. You can see it was 3 days, and each separate day is a separate area in that map. So you can see the little 1 and 2 and 3, that's the 3 days. And it shows me exactly what I did at which day. So it notices as well that when in the evening my boat doesn't move anymore, the day must be over. So that's completely in the app. I don't have to tell the app that I'm staying somewhere for the night. I have all the information about the trip in general. So for example, I have the distance traveled, I have the average distance per day, so that's the complete distance divided by the 3 days. I have the complete time that I spent sailing and the average time per day. And I also have the maximum speed and the average speed. Those numbers that are blue, I can click on them and it will show me a complete chart of the different speeds that I had throughout the journey. And that's for all 3 days that I spent sailing. I can go back and I can also see the separate parts of the journey. So if it's just the 1 day leg that I want to see, I just click on the number 1 down here. It highlights in red the part of the journey that I did on day 1, and it has the same information that I have for the entire trip, also calculated down to the first leg. The same for the second leg and the third, and then the journey back. So that makes it really easy to keep track of everything. I don't have to write everything down. In case I forget something, I can just go back into the app and see what happened at that time. What I can also do is I can send the map to myself via email, to some friends. Maybe somebody else joined me on my trip and they want to see all the exact information. I can share it as a postcard, then the map is included as well. It looks really nice. It's like a little card that you can send and also print, of course. I can also share it as an online link, so everybody who gets the email with the link can then see the details of the trip. What I can also do, and that of course makes it easier for me to sort everything, especially when you're away quite a lot, I can click up here and then add a photo or more photos as well. And then the photo is uploaded and directly connected to that trip. So whenever I open that trip, I also see the photos that I did, and they're just on the second page of the map. And that's pretty much all there is to know about the trips. It makes it easier to rename them right after the trip is done, so you just can keep track what's happening when, and it makes it really, really easy to have an electronic logbook right in your app. Back in the home menu on the home screen, we have the bottom menu that also brings you to an area called switches. That pretty much depends on you and your personal boat, what you have in that menu, because it concerns all the different things on board that you can switch on and off. But you have to have your boat equipped with CZone, and via that all the different things can be put into the safety cloud as well. So for example, if you have your lights or your air conditioning connected to CZone, you can switch on and off all those things from remote. So imagine being in the port and it's really hot and you're going back to your boat and you like to switch on the air conditioning just a few minutes before you return to your boat, so it's nice and cool inside. Same with the lights, or you might have forgotten to turn off the lights, and then you don't have to return to your boat to see it, but can do that remotely from your app as well. The last menu that is shown down here on the bottom bar is the More menu. And as you would guess, it has all kinds of different sub-menus in it, and we'll just go through it one by one. One which is really important is the manuals menu. That's the first one that's shown, and it has all the different manuals that might be important to you particularly. So it's not all the manuals that we have, but the ones that are important to you and your personal boat. So like in this case, Bob is a Hanse 508. So I only get to see the manuals that are actually true for the Hanse 508, because I can't do anything with any other manuals. So it's already filtered to just have those that are important to me. It's for all different kinds of areas on my boat. And for example, if I open the manual entertainment, then it shows me all the different manuals that I have, and it's for all the different things, all the equipment that is installed in my personal boat. So for example, if I have this particular radio, I see the manual for this particular radio. It opens the document right in the app. So whenever you have a question, you need anything in particular, you always have those manuals with you when you have the app with you. And of course, there's always all the manuals for all the different parts of your boat. So if you decide to have a very special dishwasher installed on your boat, that will also be in this overview. The next part that we have in the More menu is the so-called sensors. And you might have noticed we have a new little red number 1, but I will come to that in just a second. So when I click on sensors, it shows me all the different sensors that I have. And the first thing that I notice is that the shore power is disconnected. And that is the exact same thing that it shows me in my alerts. So I have just taken off the shore power, and it tells me right away. It just takes a couple of seconds and I know exactly when the shore power has been disconnected. It's connected again, but it might take a few seconds to recognize that, so I can clear that because it was my own fault that it was disconnected. So I go back to More and Sensors. Oh, look, there it is. Shore power is connected again. So nothing to worry about. And in those sensors, I have all different kinds of information. The most important ones are the service and engine battery levels. So they show me how full my batteries are, basically. And if there's anything to worry, I will also get an alert, as we have seen before. So if the battery level is really low, I will be informed about that, and it will also show here. So all the different things that I see here, it's the bilge, the shore power as we saw, and the batteries. If I click on any of them, it opens an overview. This, for example, is the service battery levels within the past 12 hours, as you can see at the bottom. I can also try to see it in the 24-hour period. That looks pretty much the same. And in the 7-day period. And here you can see that for a while in between, the battery level was really low. And this is the time axis, so it shows me when exactly the battery level was low, and I can see what was happening then. So the minimum level was 0 volt. The average during those 7 days was 5.5 and the maximum 14.7. And when I go back to the 12 hours, I can see the 14.7, that's today. So everything is good in the service battery so far. I can also see when I go back to the shore power, it's all light blue, but there are those dark blue stripes in the middle. When I click anywhere, you can see that above there is this little black gray box that shows me exactly the time. And whenever I come over one of those blue lines, it says disconnected. It's really hard to see sometimes, but it shows me exactly when the shore power was disconnected, so I can always see exactly when something happened there. And also here I can choose if I want to see the 12-hour period, 24 or 7 days. And all different kinds of information is in here as well. For example, the information that you usually would get outside in the cockpit. So engine hours, speeds, etc. That's all in the sensors area. The next point that we have in this last menu is insurance. We have partnered with Pantenius. It's the market leader in yacht insurances, and that's top of the class insurance for your boat, and of course for you in that case. And what we have included in this app is that you can get a non-binding offer right through the app. So if you decide to get an insurance and haven't gotten it yet, you can just click on here and then scroll down, click on open form, and then it lets you put in all the information, but it already knows your boat. So in here it says it's a Hanse 508 and it's called Bob. So it pretty much knows everything already, and you just have to tell the system what exactly you're looking for. What the great thing is with this partnership with Pantenius is that we got a special deal with them for all our clients. So there is the normal insurance that you can get, but by getting the insurance via the Safety Cloud app, you will get a special package from them. It's called the Engine Protect Plus, and it's an insurance for your engine, which also covers, for example, accidental wrongful refueling, and all different kinds of things that can go wrong with your engine. And that's really important to know, because this Engine Protect Plus is free of charge for the first year of using it, if you get the insurance via the Safety Cloud app. So that's a really cool thing, and you can get it right here via the insurance button. The really important thing about this maintenance part of the Safety Cloud app is that it gives you an overview of what has been done already, and of course what needs to be done. So it's not necessarily only the yearly inspection, it's the inspections for every single part of your boat. So for example, if you have special sails that need to be checked every once a year, your app will inform you once a year. But in case that you have been sailing a lot during that year, they might need checking a little earlier. So then it depends on the mileage instead of the time that they have been in use. So the app will take care of everything. So you don't have to remember yourself, but you will be reminded by the alerts that we have already seen before. And another great thing about the maintenance is that it keeps a history of all the maintenance work that has been done. So imagine you want to sell your boat in the future, or there is something that you want to have checked out and somebody needs to see what has to be done. You have like a maintenance log that can prove that everything has been taken care of continuously. And in case of selling the boat, this is very, very valuable. And you always have that on hand, and you don't have to write anything else down yourself. In this big menu that we have, the last point is called Shop and Parts. And that's really interesting for you as well, especially if you want to buy anything extra for your boat. That can be spare parts, that can be anything that you might have forgotten. For example, imagine you thought you would never use big cushions on the outside of your boat in the cockpit, and then you see it on another boat and you think, wow, that looks so amazing, I want them too. Then you can do that with this menu here, and you just click on Shop and Parts, and then it pretty much leads you to our online shop directly. So you just click on Show Recommended Items. This only means that it recommends only those items to you that would actually fit into your boat, because it doesn't matter to you if there's anything available for another boat if you don't have that boat. So it only shows you everything that is interesting for you. And then you just you can scroll down. You can also use the menu here to see what's on offer in the different categories, or you can just browse. And right here you can find really nice cushions for outside for the cockpit already, and then you can just click on it, and it's the same as every usual online shop. You can put in your delivery address, and that it will be delivered right to you, either to you at home or to the address where you're at, because of course you can also use that shop if you're somewhere around the world sailing right now. So we're through all the menus. So I go back to our main screen, the home screen, and there's just a couple more things I would like to show you. We've been there before on the 3 dots up here to boat info. That's where in the very beginning I changed my boat's name to Bob. I can of course always change it again, but I quite like Bob, so I'll keep it like that for now. I see the boat type, the brand, and the boat model if I ever need that. And I see who my responsible dealer is. And what's also important is the permissions part. This is important when it comes to all your data and who has the data about you. So you can go through that and see what data is being transferred to the app owners and who can see what, so you can change that as well, and just click save, and then you know who's doing what with your data. So that's important for you to know. There's one more point in this menu that's called transfer ownership. If you might remember, that's what your dealer did with your boat when he made you the official owner of this boat. So of course it might be that one day you will sell your boat, and that person of course can still use the safety cloud, and then you can transfer the ownership and make the new owner the right owner for your boat. Of course, none of your personal data will be transferred to the new owner. So for example, the photos you have uploaded or the trips, that's none of their business, but he gets the important information about the boat. So that's the maintenance log and all those things that he needs to know in order to know everything about the boat. And that just makes it easier. You don't have to find all the different papers where you might have written something down. You can just make this little click, transfer the ownership, and then the next owner will be able to use the app exactly like you did. Back on the home screen, we also have this little button at the top with the little man standing there. If you click on that, that gives you access to the guest area. So you're also able to invite guests to your boat. That's especially interesting if you decide to use your boat for charter. So if you have different people coming into your boat all the time, of course you still want to know what's happening while they are on board. And for that, you can give them access to the boat's data. Of course, they don't see anything of your personal stuff that has been going on beforehand. They only have access for the time that they're actually on board. And of course, they only have access to the sensor data, to all that data that we saw before from their period of time when they're actually on board. So you don't have to worry that they steal any of your personal photos, etc. That's only for that time. And of course you can also use that even if it's not a real charter, but if you just lend your boat to a friend who's taking it out, just so all the data is correct, and they can also include their photos and all that. So that makes it really easy for them to use the app as well, but only during the time that they're actually on board. One more thing that's in the little upper menu with the 3 dots, it's called report issue. That's basically when you want to get in touch with your dealer. You click on that and then you can put in anything that you want to tell him. For example, imagine you're in the port and you saw a beautiful teak decking on the boat next door, and you would really like some ideas on how this teak would look on your boat and if it's possible to do. So you can just take a picture of that and then go to report issue, send a message to your dealer, add the image, and you can just attach that image that you just took and then report it to your dealer, and he will get an email right away with your description, and then he can get in touch with you with any offers, any solutions, and then you might get your beautiful teak decking very soon.